Welcome to the Dissolutions podcast, brought to you by the Goethe Institute Ukraine. This series features artists from Eastern Europe, the Baltics, the South Caucasus, and Central Asia, reflecting on their work, local contexts, and what it means to be an artist today. The podcast is part of Dissolutions Decolonial Encounters, a program exploring post-colonial practices across art, culture, and civil society.
Nazira Karimi is an artist from Tajikistan, currently based in Kazakhstan. She was born in Dushanbe to Kazakh-Tajik parents and from an early age traveled with her family across Central Asia to visit relatives. These journeys deepened her connection to the region and shaped her identity as a Central Asian. In her teenage years, Nazira and her family moved to Almaty, where she continues to live and work today.
I am half Kazakh and half Tajik. So when I moved here, I was easily accepted, to be honest, in Kazakhstan. Actually, even more so than in Tajikistan, because in Tajikistan, I look like more Kazakh for them. But it affects greatly because I consider myself a person of the region. I don't consider myself Tajik or Kazakh. I just consider myself Central Asian. Also, a lot of Central Asian people make a lot of jokes that sedentary and nomadic culture mixed in me, and here is one Uzbek person. So I kind of look like, and Uzbek people consider me as Uzbek girl, so I feel that I fit everywhere in Central Asia. And also since my early childhood, we were traveling to visit relatives in Kazakhstan and always on cars. So we were passing by Uzbekistan or Kyrgyzstan. So I saw the region from the very early on. And so it affects my art as well as my life in general.
In her artistic practice, Nazira explores collective memory and the environment of Central Asia, often focusing on the lasting impact of colonization. Her film Hafta, meaning seven in Tajik, was featured at the 60th Venus Biennale, Foreigners Everywhere. The 7-part video work traces her ancestry through 7 generations of women in her family.
Well, that was actually a big research on my identity and family history. I took as a basis of this work traditional knowledge on Jitata of 7 grandfathers, and I approached it from the maternal line. So I was searching for the story of my 7 grandmothers, Jitana. It's a film of 7 parts that tells a story of each woman of my maternal lineage. But our family history is erased because my Kazakh part of family fled the famine and decolonization. That's how they appear to be in Tajikistan. The history is absent, so I had to create a fictional narrative partly, and partly it's based on real people and the facts that are known to the family. And through the lives of these women, because the timeline of 7 generations spans a long time, so through their lives and their stories, I meant to tell the history of the region and the repetitive episodes of colonization in Central Asia.
Reflecting on modern Central Asian identity, Nazira highlights the strength of community and the social fabric that persists among her people. Something she contrasts with her 6 years of living and studying in Europe.
I see that community is more prominent in Central Asia than in other places that I've lived in. Also, I guess religion plays a big part in the identity of Central Asian people, or in mine. I don't know, I don't want to talk for all the people around me. Maybe that would be the reflection on what it is, the Central Asian person. But yeah, sadly, we are still very, very colonized, and our identity is suffering from that.
She also recalled how for many Europeans, Asia seemed to exist only through Korea, Japan, and China, a perception that often led to ignorant or racist assumptions. During her studies, this pressure to constantly explain Central Asia became exhausting. When her professor went on sabbatical, she avoided giving presentations in another class because she didn't want to start over with explanations of geography, history, and context. This same fatigue also influenced her decision not to switch professors, preferring to stay with someone who already understood her background. By the end of 2024, after completing her master's degree in Vienna, Nazira decided not to pursue a career in the European art scene, but to return to Almaty instead.
Where to be for a Central Asian artist in Central Asia? Yeah, I came back to Almaty because I've been tired. The reality of being there, the constant explanation of myself, like for what reason I have to constantly explain myself, prove myself, or legalize myself.
For her, the region is fertile ground, full of context and reach with emerging and established artists. At the same time, Nazira notes that sustaining an artistic practice remains difficult without strong institutional support. But things are starting to shift, and some of it looks promising.
It's kind of complicated to sustain your practice here, while you have to also sustain your whatever lifestyle you live. So you have to work somewhere and do the art practice on a side. So therefore, it's like 2 full-time jobs. But I'm excited for the time that is coming this year because we have several institutions being opened. Uzbekistan is doing the most right now, so I'm curious to see what's going to happen.
What helps her in sustaining is the community of artists that surround her in Almaty and in Central Asia broadly. Being part of several collectives and having constant conversation with peers provides both support and insight.
One thing that very much helps me is to have a support system, like a community of other artists. I am, for example, part of several artist collectives and constant discussion. I never do my artworks by myself. I constantly discuss it with my artist friends. So I seek for advice or I show them the work and I want to hear their thoughts on it. So constant discussion and new knowledge. That's where the inspiration comes from, I guess.
Despite the fact that Nazira doesn't believe in sitting and waiting for inspiration to come, preferring to constantly work on her ideas and projects, she finds it very helpful to see big exhibitions, cool artworks, and meet great artists. Something similar to it happened during her trip to Dissolution's residency in South Caucasus in February 2025.
I am really amazed by CSN Lab and their work because you know that I'm co-founder and creative director in Rio Journal. And I was just like seeing CSN Lab and thinking like it's the future of Rio, you know. I was really amazed and I really would love to collaborate one day with them. They inspired me a lot in terms of my editorial practice. I loved all the people, the colleagues, the fellow residents that were there. We made great friends, and I think that would bring in future to some collaborations. This is what I loved the most in the residency.
For her, being an artist is inseparable from the wish to amplify Central Asian voices on the global stage. She emphasizes the importance of creating their own knowledge, art, and institutions, while insisting that the world must recognize their presence.
Through my art, I want to broaden the understanding of Central Asian region for the global community. And I want our perspectives to be heard and seen. I want us to work on our own knowledge production, art production, and honestly, I want us to work on our own institutions as well. I think why am I an artist is because I want our voices to be heard. I want them to be heard loud and clear. I want us to make a statement to the world that we are here. Actually, it's the title of the exhibition of my beloved friend Dilda Ramazan that she curated in Milan. You are here, and we are here. And I want the world to hear us. Yeah.
Nurperi Orunbaeva is a Kyrgyz artist, feminist, and decolonial activist. A former medic, she reinvented herself as an artist in 2021. In her works, Nurperi addresses women's rights, human lives, and the injustices embedded in Kyrgyz history. For her, art is a way to remain vocal about issues that demand attention.
The issues I raise include injustice in general, historical injustice, injustice against women today, and injustice against all people. These are things I have witnessed in my life, observed in others, and searched for ways to address. My way out became speaking through art. Before raising any issue, I search for materials, conduct research, visualize, and finally create my work. The process of creation is the most valuable and interesting part for me.
Before turning to art, Nurperi studied dentistry and worked as a dentist for 3 years. In 2020, when the COVID-19 pandemic struck, she lost her job. Together with several colleagues, she joined hospitals to help fight the virus. But the experience ended in deep disappointment when the hospital refused to pay them. That became the last straw.
Many accepted this and left the work, but I could not accept it. I had to fight for the money we had earned with our honest labor. For 3 months, I fought alone for the salaries of the entire community. I uncovered many lies in this struggle. Our money and resources had been stolen, and we had been deceived.
This experience was more than a battle for fair pay. It became a deeply formative chapter that forced Nurperi to confront corruption and discover both her resilience and her own capacity to act alone.
While fighting alone, I encountered many threats and intimidation, but I believe I managed to bring this issue to the attention of the entire Kyrgyz Republic. It reached journalists, ministries, members of parliament, and even the Vice Prime Minister. Eventually, our problem was rightfully resolved. After 3 months, justice was achieved. On December 30th, 2020, our fight ended, and on December 30th, I celebrated the new year with my relatives. At that moment, I decided that in 2021, I would dedicate my life to art.
Today, Nurperi works primarily with installation, a medium that allows her to fully articulate her ideas. Yet, like many artists of her generation, Nurperi faces numerous obstacles, from financial hardship and lack of institutional support to ageism, sexism, and political pressures.
Of course, there are many challenges in creating my works. These include financial struggles, lack of understanding, ageism, sexism, and political challenges. Whether digital or contemporary, every artist needs significant financial resources to replenish their supplies. With current prices, being an artist is very expensive. Today, there are many restrictions imposed by the state. Artists who express their opinions are often imprisoned. This is very sad. Speaking openly can bring unimaginable challenges. Many people believe that only the elderly can raise cultural and political questions. For them, I am just a young girl without much life experience. This makes it difficult for me to convey my thoughts to the older generation. For many, my place is in front of a pot. As somebody's wife, I'm expected to be an obedient, quiet daughter-in-law who gives birth and does not irritate anyone.
Despite these barriers, Nurperi remains steadfast in her decision to rethink her country's past, present, and future through art. She says her greatest inspiration comes from her family of artisans, whose hands have been creating art for centuries.
I consciously chose to become an artist. For me, being an artist is not just drawing with a pencil on paper. It is about exploring the artistic and creative realm of our culture. Many of my relatives are artistically gifted. They are the ones who inspired me. Since childhood, I watched my grandparents and parents and drew inspiration from them. They are all artisans whose hands create flowing beauty.
For Nurperi, art is inseparable from the realities of the world she inhabits. She sees it as a force capable of confronting painful histories while also offering healing. Rooted in a decolonial and feminist perspective, her practice brings hidden stories to light, reclaims the right to speak and questions structures of power. To her, art is not only self-expression, but also resistance and survival.
I believe art is our savior. The state and the world are drowning in wars and conflicts. In these restless times, art can become medicine. In a decolonial context, art gives us a chance to reanalyze history. It can bring to light events that were forgotten or left aside. From a feminist perspective, art directly challenges patriarchal norms. Patriarchal society locks women at home, limiting them to household chores when convenient. But art allows women to show themselves, to speak about domestic violence and cruelty, to claim their bodies, freedom, and independence.
Looking ahead, she envisions a future where art is given the space and recognition it deserves. For her, it is not only about personal expression, but about building a cultural environment that nurtures dialogue, growth, and change. While she knows her methods may evolve, her commitment to contributing to her community remains constant.
In my region, if proper attention is given to art, I believe culture will flourish and society will become more beautiful. There are many things I want to accomplish. In the future, I have something to share with people. I know that my methods will change and my ideas will evolve, but this is how I will achieve my goals. There is so much more to contribute in the future.
You're listening to the Dissolutions podcast. Join us again in the next episode featuring Ramin Mazur and Yevgenia Dritsko.